the apparent current if he wants to have a woman. It is obvious to him that the black woman wants a separate, independent life while claiming she wants peace and unity with the black man. It is impossible for those two aspirations to occupy the same space or be targeted at the same object at one time. One cannot have separation and unity simultaneously. The real black man does not want a woman who professes any of the 6 aforementioned ideas. In his heart, he does not want this in his woman, but he too is convinced that this is his only option if he wants to be with her, and he has proven that he wants to be with her. On closer examination of the 6 postures of the new breed black woman, it is found that 1. Financially independent black women make life easier on the black man because her wants and desires are so excessive, and times are so difficult for a black man to earn enough money to support a wife and family that he generally agrees that it is a good idea if she has her own money. He doesn't have enough for himself. He would much rather be the breadwinner in charge of the money. But if he has a woman who makes outrageous demands on his wallet, he can't compete. He knows she will never be satisfied with his provisions, and therefore gives up his rightful place as chief of finance and budget. 2. Quote, her own person means she demands total control of her own decision-making processes. It is part of her hard-earned independence. Anything he tells her to do or any advice he renders comes under careful scrutiny. Many times a black woman will do the direct opposite of what the black man tells her to do just to prove to him that he can't boss her around. Repetitive rejection leaves him with no alternative but to stand back and let her be her own person, even if her own person is a fool. He watches her floundering about. 3. Can do things on her own and doesn't count on me for everything. This includes her happiness. Since the black woman has proven by her behavior and responses that the black man doesn't know what to do to make her happy, he has nearly given up the desire to do so. He is faced with the mental torment of knowing she rejects his ideas, but that her ideas are impossible for him to execute and fulfill. So it is best if she counts on her own self for her own happiness. She calls it freedom of choice. The black man calls it saving himself from endless hassles and debates, predictably ending with her having her way. 4. Who makes her own decisions. The black man consents to allowing the black woman to make her own decisions. He has learned that if he persists in trying to convince her to follow his advice, he has to be prepared to argue it out for days. Or he can physically force his woman to submit. Physical force is covered in another chapter. The black woman's loose and ruthless tongue eliminates the black man's alternatives. He cannot out-talk her unless she stops to listen. Therefore, he lets her have her way. A strange thing happens next. Every time the black woman wins an argument against the black man, she loses further confidence in his ability to handle her because she sees his acquiescence as weakness. All every black woman really wants is for her black man to tell her what to do, make her do it, and take charge of the situation. The black woman involuntarily wants to be overpowered by the black man, albeit she screams like a banshee while he's doing it. Don't believe her. This is just another contradiction in her ever-changing behavior. She wants to be conquered, and whenever she is conquered, she proudly brags to her friends about the conquest. She wants to lose, but when she pits her will against the will of the black man and he gives in, she believes that if he can't handle her, then surely he cannot handle other outside forces that come against her. She first of all wants to be protected against herself. 5. Is a professional career woman. This means she has some type of high-class title and job in some big business company. She dresses in a certain way and talks the language of whatever her job represents. The so-called corporate world, if it's not a black company, is the worst place for the black woman to be because she exhibits the internal conflict of trying to live the impression she gives on her job and live in the real world that exists for her at home or outside the workplace. She, in making a few dollars more than her often routine job-holding counterparts, black men, is geared to compete. Sometimes the competition is so aggressive, she calls it assertive, that the black man experiences the antagonism of being defeated by the black woman in front of the white man. Her independence, strained from her salary and circle of friends, allows the black man the relaxation of not having to worry about her needs. She's on the same track as he, so he relieves himself of the challenge, since by the measures she uses, she is equal. So this is just another situation which permits him to defer dealing with her personal problems due to her insistence on occupational and after-work equality. He knows she will not let him infringe upon her highfalutin work decisions, nor the ones she makes at home. So other than sex, he has no responsibility for her. It's simpler, and she knows it. 6. Likes to have a good time without becoming attached. Is prided by some black men because it too lets them deal any kind of way he chooses, but avoid the responsibility of dealing with the fallout of the after effects. Black women allegedly have become more careful in their sexual involvements because of the AIDS and herpes scare, but this kind of sexual election only applies if it is a man she is not that fond of. If it is a man she likes and wants to see more of, she still gives up the sex or accepts the one-night stand. Sometimes she does this because she too does not want to make a commitment or to have to contend with anything else the black man has other than his body. Her total statement gets reduced to what she transmits in bed. After that, she may have no further use for him. Partying, going out, and sex are the only things a black man and black woman can have if they do not commit to each other and try to build a long-lasting relationship. The black man who knows full well these days that the black woman is filled to the brim with personal problems doesn't always feel like going through all the changes required of him to tame the black woman. So they both agree to just participate in what they consider the good parts of a relationship and dismiss the other parts as just a way to bust a groove. These few surface points are made to demonstrate that the black man is in charge of the black woman any way it's examined, because it is he who opens the channels by his permission to allow her to do the things that she does. This is a mistake, because a man can rise no higher than his woman. The women in any civilization are indicative of the condition of the men. The black woman is only reflective of the black man's failure to do his job, which is to take charge of his woman. So if the black woman is troubled, so is he. No matter how he